Picture this with me. It's January 6th. You're sitting at your desk at 9 p.m. There's a half-eaten protein bar next to your keyboard. You remember the one from your Get Healthy resolution? Your gym bag is still in the trunk of your car from 4 days ago, and your kid went to bed an hour ago, and you didn't make it home in time to say goodnight. Does that sound familiar? Here's the thing. It's not your fault. Well, not entirely. Welcome to BeABossDad.com. I'm Joel Hassenritter, and I help high-achieving dads scale their business without failing their family. And every January, I watch the same cycle repeat. Driven, successful men, guys running 6- and 7-figure businesses, guys leading teams, guys who can solve complex problems at work, make promises to themselves about getting in shape, being more present, finally getting their time back, and by February, they're right back where they started. Except now they're carrying something extra, and that is something we're all too familiar with, I'm sure. That's the weight of another broken promise to themselves and their family. But here's what I've learned after working with other dads. You don't have a discipline problem. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a systems problem. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact framework that's helped dads just like you build habits that stick, not for 30 days, not for 90 days, but for life. We're going to cover the 10 reasons your resolutions fail, and more importantly, the proven system to fix each one. This is based on research from James Clear's Atomic Habits, which has helped over 25 million people worldwide. But I'm translating it specifically for you, the dad entrepreneur or corporate leader who's trying to win at business and win at life. Because here's the reality that most people won't tell you. Your kids won't remember that you hit your revenue goal in Q1, but they will remember whether dad was present at dinner. They will remember if you kept your promises. Let's make sure 2026 is different. Today, I'm counting down the top 10 reasons why your resolutions fail and how to install the atomic systems that will make sure they succeed. Reason number 10, you're focused on goals instead of systems. James Clear puts it this way: we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. Think about that for a second. Here's the problem with how most of us approach New Year's resolutions. We set goals without integrating a system. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to be more present with my kids. I want to scale my business to 7 figures. But here's the reality. Winners and losers share the same goals. Every entrepreneur at a pitch competition wants to close funding. Every dad at the basketball game wants to be a great father. Every Olympian wants the gold medal. The goal isn't the differentiator. What separates them? The system. Let me show you the difference. Goal thinking says, I want to work out 5 days a week. I want to be home for dinner. I want to read more books. Systems thinking says every morning at 6 a.m. before I check my phone, I work out for a half an hour. I block off from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. on my calendar every day as a meeting called the Family Sync that no client can override. Systems thinking says after I make my morning coffee, I read 1 page. You see the difference? One is a wish list, the other is a process. And here's why this matters for you specifically as a dad entrepreneur. You already know this at work. You don't say, I want my business to be successful. You build systems and SOPs, sales processes, hiring funnels. That's exactly what we need to do for the habits that will transform your life at home. Your business runs on systems. Your life should too. In the Boss Dad framework, we focus on 4 systematic pillars. Balanced, owner, strategic, shepherd. That's what BOSS stands for. Balanced are the systems for your energy and your mindset. Owner are the systems for your business that create freedom. Strategic are the systems for family connection. And shepherd are the systems for integration and legacy. So here's your first action step. Stop asking, what do I want to achieve? And start asking, what daily system will get me there? We're going to build those systems together starting right now. Reason number 9 why your resolutions fail: you're trying to change everything at once. It's January 1st, and you decide this year I'm going to work out every day, meal prep on Sundays, read 50 books, be off my phone after 6 p.m., start meditating, build my side hustle, spend quality time with each kid individually, have weekly date nights with my wife, and I could go on and on, right? But by January 8th, you've done none of it or just a few of it, and now you feel like a failure. Let me tell you something. You're not a failure. You're just trying to renovate the entire house when you should be fixing one room at a time. James Clear teaches something called the 1% rule. This math will actually change your life. If you get 1% better every single day for 1 year, you don't end up 365% better. You end up 37 times better. That's the power of compounding. But the flip side is if you get 1% worse every day, you decline nearly down to zero. And the part that most people miss, and it's critical for you to understand, the hallmark of any compounding process is that the most meaningful returns are delayed. This is why you quit. This is why February rolls around and you're back to your old habits, because in 1 week you did everything right. You went to the gym, you were home for dinner, you read before bed, and you look in the mirror and nothing changed. Your abs didn't appear, your kid didn't suddenly open up, and your revenue didn't double. So your brain says this isn't working. But that's a lie. It is working. You just haven't hit the inflection point yet. There's a concept called the valley of disappointment. It's that gap between when you start a new habit and when you start to see results. Most people quit right there, right before the breakthrough. In the B.O.S.S Dad Accelerator, we don't ask you to overhaul your entire life at one time. We use something I call the drop 3, add 3 method, and here's how it works. You drop 3 things that are stealing your energy. For example, scrolling social media after 9 p.m., or saying yes to every client request, or checking email first thing in the morning. And then you add small 3 habits that build momentum. For example, a 10-minute walk after lunch, or your phone stays in a drawer during dinner, or you read 1 page before bed. That's it. Drop 3 and add 3. Because a habit must be established before it can be improved. You're not trying to run a marathon in a week. You're trying to prove to yourself, I'm the type of person who shows up. And the beautiful thing about this is that every action is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Going to the gym once doesn't give you abs, but it casts a vote. I'm the type of dad who doesn't miss workouts. Reading 1 page doesn't make you well read, but it casts a vote for I'm the type of dad who prioritizes growth. Write down 3 things to drop and 3 things to add. Make them so small they feel almost too easy to accomplish. That's actually the point, because small hinges swing big doors. Reason number 8 why your resolutions have failed: you're relying on motivation instead of environment. So let me ask you a question. When you walk into your home office, what do you see? Is your workspace designed to help you focus, or is it designed to distract you? When you walk into your kitchen at night, what's at eye level in your pantry? Is it healthy food, proteins and vegetables, or is it chips and cookies? When you walk into your bedroom, is your phone charging on your nightstand 3 inches from your pillow, or is it across the room? Here's one of the most important truths in habit science. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. James Clear teaches the first law of behavior change. Make it obvious. You see, every habit follows a 4-stage loop. You have the cue, which is the trigger. You have the craving, which is the desire. You have the response, which is the action. And you have the reward, which is the satisfaction. To build a good habit, you need to make the cue unavoidable. To break a bad habit, you need to make the cue invisible. Let me give you a real-world example. When I started down this journey for my own life, I realized I was bringing work stress home every night. I'd walk through the door and within a few minutes snap at the kids over something small. Homework that was left on the table or toys on the floor. It wasn't their fault, it was mine. I was still in work mode. So I created what I now call the CEO to Dad Transition Firewall, and I did a previous video on this. The key was engineering my environment to make the habit obvious. So what I did is I set a recurring alarm on my phone for 5:15 p.m. or 5 minutes before I typically got home. And when that alarm went off, I didn't walk straight into the house. I stayed inside my car just for a few minutes, and I did 3 things. I did a brain dump for any open loops. I did box breathing, 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out, and 4 counts hold, doing a few of those. And then the important one, I made an identity statement. I said out loud, I am a patient, present, and playful dad. Then the phone went on silent, and I walked in the door as the loving and present dad that I wanted to be. Here's something else that you could add to that. You could actually knock on the door, even though it's the door of your own home. That knock becomes the cue. It both tells your brain that work is over, family starts now, and it'll tell your kids that dad's here and he's present. So you need to ask yourself one critical question about every space in your life. What is this room designed to encourage? To build a good habit, make the cue obvious. If you want to work out in the morning, sleep in your gym clothes or lay them out next to your bed. If you want to read more, put a book on your pillow every morning when you make your bed. If you want to be present at dinner, create a phone jail basket by the front door. To break a habit, make the cue invisible. If you want to stop doom scrolling, delete social apps on your phone and only access them from your computer. If you want to stop working late, create the systems that give you the freedom. If you want to eat healthier, don't keep junk food in the house. The reality is you have a finite amount of willpower. If you're relying on discipline alone to overcome your bad environment, you're going to lose every single time. But if you design your environment correctly, the right choice becomes the easy choice. Walk through your house tonight and identify one space that's sabotaging a habit you want to build. Then change it. Make the cue for your good habit unavoidable. Reason number 7 why your resolutions have failed, and this is a huge shift in perspective. Your resolutions fail because you're making them too hard. Let me tell you a story that James shares in his book. There was a guy who wanted to build a gym habit. He tried everything. He bought a membership, he hired a trainer, he set alarms, nothing stuck. So he tried something different. He made a rule. For 6 weeks, he could go to the gym, but he wasn't allowed to stay for more than 5 minutes. That was it. Drive there, walk in, do half of one exercise, and leave. You might be thinking that's stupid. What's the point? Here's the point. He was mastering the art of showing up. After 6 weeks, going to the gym 4 days a week wasn't a decision anymore. It was automatic. That's when he started working out for real. And within a year, he was in the best shape of his life. This is what we call the 2-minute rule, and it's a game changer. The rule is scale any habit you're trying to build down to something that takes 2 minutes or less. Read 30 books a year becomes 1 page. Do yoga 4 times a week becomes unroll my yoga mat. Be more present with my kids becomes put my phone in the drawer when I get home. Journal every day becomes write 1 sentence. Now, some of you are probably thinking, Joel, I don't need to read 1 page. I need to read 30 books. I get it. But here's what you're missing. The goal is not to read 1 page. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to do 1 push-up. The goal is to become the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. The Boss Dad fix is to reduce the scope and stick to the schedule. This is especially important for us as dads because our time is fragmented. We don't have 2-hour blocks to go to the gym or read, at least I don't, but we do have 2 minutes. And the truth is, on your hardest days, when the client call ran late, when the deal fell through, when you're exhausted, when you're not going to do the full workout, you're not going to have the 30-minute family meeting, but you can do the 2-minute version. And doing the 2-minute version is infinitely better than doing nothing, because doing nothing breaks the identity. It breaks the streak. It tells your brain, I guess I'm not that guy after all. But doing the 2-minute version, that says I'm the type of dad who shows up even on hard days. So look at your biggest resolution for 2026. Now scale it down to a 2-minute version. What is the absolute smallest version of that habit? Write that one down and commit to the 2-minute version for 30 days. Once it's automatic, you can scale it up, but not before. Master the art of the baby steps. Reason number 6 why your habits have failed. You're starting from scratch instead of stacking. Here's a question. How many things did you do this morning without thinking about them? You probably brushed your teeth, maybe made some coffee, checked your phone, got dressed. Maybe you follow the same route to work every day. These are automatic behaviors. Your brain has done them so many times that they require almost zero willpower. Here's the insight, is that you can use those automatic behaviors as anchors for new habits. This is something called habit stacking, and the formula is super simple. The formula is after I insert your current habit, I will insert your new habit. Let me give you some Boss Dad specific examples. After I pour my morning coffee, I'll read 1 page of a book. After I sit down at my desk, I'll write my top 3 priorities for the day. After I park my car at home, I will take 3 deep breaths before walking inside. After I tuck my kids into bed, I will ask them one curiosity-based question about their day. After I close my laptop at the office, I'll text my wife one thing I'm grateful for. So you see how this works, right? You're not adding a new habit to your day just out of thin air. You're attaching it to something you already do automatically. And here's why this is powerful. The trigger is built in. You don't have to remember. You don't have to rely on motivation. The current habit acts as the cue for the new habit. Some other examples. After I leave my last meeting, I do a brain dump. After I get in my car, I listen to one song that shifts my mood. After I pull into my driveway, I sit for 3 minutes and do box breathing. After I open my car door, the phone goes on silent. After I walk to the front door, I knock, even if it's my house. After my kids open the door, I give hugs before I check anything else. This entire stack takes less than 10 minutes, but it completely transforms the energy that you can bring into your home. So identify one habit you already do every day without fail. Now stack one new 2-minute habit onto it. Write it down in this format. After I do this, I will do that. Do it for 7 days and watch what happens. Reason number 5 on the countdown to why your resolutions have failed, you're trying to do it alone. You don't just adopt the habits of your environment, you adopt the habits of your tribe. James Clear says we imitate the habits of 3 groups. The close, which is family and friends, the many, which is the tribe, and the powerful, which is those with status. So think about that. If everyone in your circle works 80-hour weeks and brags about never taking a vacation, what do you think you're going to do? If everyone at your dinner table is on their phones, what do you think your kids are going to do? If all your friends talk about is grinding and hustling, what identity do you think you're going to adopt? One of the most powerful strategies for behavior change is to join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. This is why group fitness classes work. This is why masterminds work. This is why jiu-jitsu works, which you should absolutely do. Because when you're surrounded by people who are already doing the thing you want to do, it stops feeling like a chore. It starts feeling like this is just what we do. The hard reality for us as dad entrepreneurs is that most of our peers are not optimizing for what we're optimizing for. They're optimizing for revenue at all costs. They're optimizing for status. They're optimizing for the next exit. We're optimizing for something different. We're trying to win at business and at life. We're trying to be elite in the boardroom and present at the dinner table. That's why we have the Boss Dad community, because you need to be around men who understand that building a 7-figure business and coaching your kid's soccer team aren't mutually exclusive. You need to be in a room where I was home for dinner every night this week gets the same respect as I closed a 6-figure deal. So ask yourself, who are my closest 5 friends, and are they modeling the life that I want? If not, it's time to find new inputs. Join a community, start a mastermind, find one other dad who's trying to build the same integrated life you are. You cannot do this alone effectively, and you don't have to. Reason number 4 in the countdown to why resolutions have failed, and this is where we go deeper. Your resolutions fail because you're focused on what you want to achieve instead of who you want to become. Let me show you the difference. An outcome-based goal could be I want to lose 20 pounds. An identity-based goal is I'm becoming the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. Outcome-based, I want to spend more time with my kids. Identity-based, I'm the type of dad who's present when I'm home. Outcome-based example, I want to scale my business. Identity-based, I'm the type of leader who builds systems, not bottlenecks. You see the shift? Here's the science behind this. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. One workout doesn't give you a 6-pack, but it casts the vote for I'm the type of person who takes care of my body. One dinner with your phone in a drawer doesn't make you Father of the Year, but it casts the vote for I'm the type of dad who's present. One delegated task doesn't scale your business, but it casts the vote for I'm the type of leader who trusts my team. Over time, those votes add up, and eventually your brain starts to identify with the person those votes represent. There's a powerful psychological principle at play here called cognitive dissonance. It says people are motivated to protect their perceived identity. Here's how this shows up in real life. Two people are trying to, say, quit smoking. Someone offers them a cigarette. Person A says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. Person B says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. Who do you think is more likely to succeed? Person B, obviously, right? Because they've already adopted the identity. In our framework, we teach something called the identity statement. It's a simple declaration of who you are becoming. Here's an example. I am a balanced owner and a strategic shepherd. I build systems that create freedom in my business so I can be fully present for my family. I lead with intention at work and at home. Write your identity statement and then say it out loud every day as part of your CEO to Dad transition firewall. It'll remind your brain who you're trying to become. So complete these 3 sentences to create your own. I am the type of dad who, I am the type of leader who, and I am the type of person who. Then say it out loud every morning. Try it for a month and watch your behavior start to align. Reason number 3 in the countdown to why your resolutions have failed: you're ignoring immediate rewards. Here's a reality about human behavior, especially in our modern society. We are wired for instant gratification. And the problem with most good habits is that the cost is immediate, but the reward is delayed. Working out, the cost is now. It's sweat and sore, right? Reward is later. It's fitness and health. Eating healthy, the cost is now. It's maybe less tasty, requires more prep. The reward is later. More energy, more longevity. Being present, the cost is now. I can't check my phone. I might miss some emails. The reward is later. Stronger family relationships. Meanwhile, bad habits are the opposite. Checking your phone, the reward is now. You get a dopamine hit. But the cost is later. You're distracted and disconnected. Eating junk food, the reward is now. It tastes great. But the cost is later. Low energy, weight gain. Working late, the reward is now. You're at inbox 0. You feel productive. But the cost is later. You missed bedtime. And maybe some resentment starts to build. This is the 4th law of behavior change. Make it satisfying. Here's the rule. A habit needs to be immediately rewarding to stick. So the question is, how do we add an immediate reward to a habit that's naturally delayed? One of the simplest and most powerful tools is a habit tracker. Here's why it works. The act of tracking itself becomes the reward. Put an X on a calendar every day you work out, for example. Move a paperclip from one jar to another every time you complete your morning routine. Check a box in your app every time you're home for dinner. When you see that streak building, 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, your brain gets a hit of satisfaction. That's the immediate reward. But the important part is never miss twice. You're going to mess up. Life happens. You'll miss a workout. You'll get stuck at work and miss dinner. You'll have a bad day. It happens. That's fine. Missing once is just life. Missing 2 or 3 times is the start of a new pattern. Top performers aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who get back on track fast. One of the things that James teaches is that the secret to winning is learning how to lose. It's not about perfection. It's about how quickly you bounce back. So choose one habit you're building. Create a visible tracker like a calendar or a jar of paper clips, an app, it doesn't matter. Track it every day. Don't break the chain. And if you do break it, never miss twice. Reason number 2 in the countdown to why the resolutions have failed you: you're treating all habits the same. Here's the truth. Not all habits are created equal. Some habits are what we call downstream habits. They're nice to have, but they don't cascade into other wins. And other habits are upstream habits. They create a ripple effect that improves everything else automatically. Let me give you an example. When you start working out consistently, you'll notice something. You're not just getting in shape. You're also probably wanting to eat better. You'll be more focused at work, more patient with your kids, and sleeping better. Working out is an upstream habit. It precipitates a dozen other good behaviors that you don't have to think about. James talks about it this way. When you live a good day, what tends to be a part of that day? That's the question that reveals your upstream habits. The Boss Dad fix is to identify your anchor habit. For most dads I work with, there are 3 habits that tend to be upstream. Number 1, morning movement. It's a workout, a walk, anything physical. Number 2, that CEO to dad transition firewall, which is the buffer between work and home. And number 3, the weekly family sync, which is Sunday planning with your spouse and the kids depending on their ages. These 3 habits have a disproportionate impact on everything else. So instead of trying to fix 10 things at once, ask yourself, what's the one habit that would make everything else easier? Maybe it's sleep, maybe it's the transition ritual, maybe it's protecting your morning. Find your upstream habit and nail that first, and then watch how everything else starts to improve. So think about your best day in the last month. Write down what you did that day. Now look for the pattern. What habit was present on your good days that was missing on your bad days? That's your upstream habit to prioritize. All right, and the number 1 reason why your resolutions have failed. This is one that actually brings it all together. Your resolutions fail because you're not reviewing the system. Most people treat personal development like a set it and forget it deal. They set goals on January 1st, maybe check in around March, and then completely forget about them until next December. That's not how high performers operate. For high performers, work ethic can become a crutch. The default solution is just to work harder, right? But reflection is the strategic tool that ensures hard work is applied to the right things. Think about it. You review your business metrics every month. You look at your P&L, your revenue, your pipeline. You adjust your strategy based on what's working, right? So why wouldn't you do the same for your life? In the B.O.S.S framework, we teach something called a quarterly reset. It's a recurring ritual to review and refine your systems. You could change the time frame from that to a monthly reset, but I wouldn't go over a quarter. Here's the process. Step 1 is you do an audit. What habits did I stick to this month or this quarter? What habits fell apart? What was different on my good days versus the bad days? Number 2 is the question. Can my current habits carry me to my desired future? If the answer is no, something needs to change. And then step number 3 is the adjustment. What one habit do I need to add, and what one habit do I need to refine? Then, what one habit do I need to drop? This is the meta habit. It's the habit of reviewing your habits. Most people never do this. They just keep running the same broken system, wondering why they're not getting different results. That is the definition of insanity, as I'm sure you know. And here's the other piece. Life has seasons. Things change. James has a concept, actually, I don't think it was James that came up with this, but called the 4 burners theory. And this is what he lists out in his book. Imagine your life as a stove with 4 burners: work, family, friends, and health. In the ULA framework that I coach, we actually break life down into 7 key areas: fitness, finance, family, field, which is your career, faith, friends, and fun. The theory that James was referring to says that to be truly excellent in one area, you might have to turn down another area. There is sometimes a season to take your life out of balance in order to bring it back to running on all cylinders, but only for a season. Otherwise, it becomes a recurring lifestyle. When you're launching a business, that work burner, as he puts it, is on high. That field and career plate that you're trying to spin and keep the other 6 spinning takes a lot of effort, right? And sometimes your friend burner might be on low just for that season. When you have a newborn, the family burner's maxed out and health might have to take a back seat. That's not failure, that's a strategic trade-off. But we're all spinning those 7 plates at all times: fitness, finance, family, field, faith, friends, and fun. And where you decide your energy should go matter. The key is to be intentional about it. Don't let life turn the dials for you. Don't let life be the one that dictates what plates you're spinning. You decide what season you're in and adjust accordingly. So plan out in your calendar, write down when you're going to do your quarterly reset or your monthly look back. What's working, what's not, what season of life am I in, and what needs to change. Make it a recurring meeting in your calendar. Every month, every 90 days, something that's non-negotiable that you'll stick to. All right, so we just covered the 10 reasons why resolutions fail. Now let's talk through the complete system to make sure 2026 is different. Here's the roadmap. Step 1, choose your identity. Not your goal, your identity. Step number 2, pick one upstream habit. Don't try to change everything. Find the one habit that makes everything else easier. Step number 3, make it tiny. Remember the 2-minute rule. Scale it down until it's so small you can't say no. Step number 4, stack it. Attach it to something you already do automatically. Step number 5, prime your environment. Make the cue obvious, make the bad habit invisible. Step number 6, track it. Give yourself an immediate reward and don't break the chain. Step number 7, find your tribe. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the norm. Step number 8, review consistently. Make adjustment part of your operating system. Speaking directly to the dads watching this, you didn't click on this video because you're lazy. You're here because you care. You're building something. You're building a business. You're building a legacy and a family. And you know that the person you are today might not be the person capable of having the life you want tomorrow. Here's what I know. Your kids won't remember the exact day you closed the deal, but they will remember whether dad showed up for the game. They will remember if dad kept his promises. Time will magnify whatever you feed it. With good habits, time is your greatest ally. With bad habits, it's your greatest enemy. And the other truth I've talked through before is you've got 940 Saturdays from the time your kid is born until the time they leave for college. If your oldest is 8, you've already used 416 of them. You've got 524 left. The resolutions you set this year aren't just about you. They're about the dad your kids experience. They're about the husband your wife gets to come home to. They're about the leader that your team follows. This is about building a life where you don't have to choose between being a great entrepreneur and a great father, where winning at business and winning at life are two integrated parts of the same system. This is what it means to be a boss dad, a balanced owner, and strategic shepherd. Here's what I want you to do next. If this resonated with you, if you're tired of feeling trapped between your business and your family, I want to invite you to something. I'm running a 5-day Boss Dad challenge, and here's how it works. An hour a day for 5 days. Day number 1, we audit your life and find your biggest time leaks. Day number 2, we build your CEO to dad transition firewall. Day 3, we create your first business system that buys back time. Number 4, we design your weekly family sync. And number 5, we pull it all together by facing what could block your progress and 7 ways to overcome them. 5 days, 5 systems, 1 transformation. Some of the things that we work through are for dads who haven't had dinner with their families in months are now home 5 nights a week. Entrepreneurs who are drowning in their business have systematized their operations and elevated their profit. Fathers who felt like strangers in their own homes have rebuilt deep connections with their kids. It's 5 days of focused, actionable systems. The link is in the description, or go to beabossdad.com. If you're serious about making 2026 the year you finally figure this out, if you're ready to stop choosing between business success and family presence, sign up today. Because the truth is your family deserves the best of you, not what's left of you. And the only thing standing between you and that integrated life is a system. Let's build it together. You can build that sustainable, thriving business. You can be present for bedtime. You can scale your company. You can coach the soccer team. You can be elite in the boardroom and a hero in the kitchen. But it's not by accident. It's by design. The habits you build this year will determine the life you live for the next decade. The systems you install today will determine the dad your kids remember. So make 2026 count. I'll see you in the challenge. Win at business, win at life, be a boss dad.